Welcome to GearCheckGames. This is the second and final part of our Castlevania commentary. Last time we did the first 3 levels, and today we're gonna finish the game and hopefully finish off Dracula.
Hopefully.
Do you want to be impressed? Do you want to see me read your mind?
Right.
I see you like Castlevania.
Yes, I do, Mr. Mantis.
It'd be cool if instead of throwing chairs at you, he's like, cool. And he like throws a PlayStation at you, he's like, dude, let's play it.
Yeah.
Let's play some Symphony of the Night.
Chair at you so you can plop down, have a pizza, and play some Castlevania.
I never got a chance to play games as a kid.
Here, we'll trade off on deaths.
Yeah. Now this stage right here, stage 4, this was my wall when I first tried to play this game. I think I made it past this stage once in 2013, but then stage 5 proved to be another wall. So I don't know. I kind of forgot how to beat this one for a while.
And they really try to bait you into jumping off those moving platforms with those candles, like just out of reach.
Yeah. Yeah, that underground section is just very like I didn't have trouble with it this time, but that's just due to muscle memory because you have to play that part so many times before you figure it out. Just to figure out like what not to do before you can even figure out how you're supposed to like navigate that part.
So what are these Quasimodo things that they're dropping at you?
These are technically hunchbacks, but for some reason they call them fleamen.
Oh no, Joe.
Yes. Yeah, see, that's where I screwed up, is, word of advice, do not walk over the corpse of an enemy or collect the contents of a candle until you know what it is, because sometimes...
It's that.
It could be the knife.
Yeah, sometimes weapons will randomly spawn out of enemies, and, 10 times out of 10, it's a weapon that you don't want, so... Yeah, I am forced to confront this boss with a suboptimal weapon, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Rather than an optimal sub-weapon.
Yeah. Hey.
See what you did there.
And this unfortunately is one of those bosses where, it's the most lesser extent of this, but if you don't have the holy water for this boss, you are going to have a really hard time.
I'm convinced that every single enemy in Castlevania should have a wall chicken after it.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, jeez. I mean, they didn't want kids to have to spend money to go to an arcade, so they wanted to bloat this game as much as possible.
Well, yeah, this is back when games with less than an hour worth of content still cost like $60. So.
Yeah.
In fact, adjusted for inflation, it was even more. So yeah, we're fighting the Frankenstein monster here, along with Igor, I guess. Frankenstein monster isn't hard. It's Igor jumping around and shooting fireballs at you.
Well, does he not count as like a normal gremlin?
No, I don't think you can kill him.
Oh.
You basically just have to avoid his attacks while trying to hit the Frankenstein monster, or the creature as they call it in this game, to avoid lawsuit.
That makes sense.
To avoid copyright infringement claims from the Mary Shelley estate.
Yeah, they didn't want to like interfere with the that one movie that's always on YouTube for free with ads.
I, Frankenstein by Max Landis.
Oh no, it started you all the way back here.
Will you get the original Frankenstein recommended to you?
I don't know, maybe.
Never seen that.
Wait, that just dropped straight. Why did they put that there if it would just drop straight into the water?
You can
Because
catch it
they
if you
hate
stand
you.
on the edge of the platform.
That's silly.
Yeah, as Dan pointed out earlier, most of the candles in this section are just there to, like, tempt you into doing something stupid.
You're gonna say yes, as Dan pointed out earlier. Yes, they do hate you.
Kind of like
Exhibit
this
A.
platform that tempts you to proceed through the level. So yeah, we're doing some Trey-style editing here, because...
Now, if this is Trey-style editing, it'd be a crappy MIDI song.
Hey,
instead of the awesome Smash Brothers remix.
that's an insult to middies.
Not only would it be a MIDI song, it would be like Sifa's theme from the Castlevania Netflix show or something.
Oh,
Just like
something obscure.
Yeah.
Pro tip for that part with the birds and the hunchbacks: don't let them drop one behind you.
Oof.
Because otherwise you're basically screwed. Like, if they start attacking you, they're just gonna, like, combo you to death.
Oh.
This somehow feels much easier.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Kind of like how I'm comboing the monster to death.
Yeesh. Oh, and a triple.
Witness the orb of power.
Wow, that
I'd
was
like to write a
joke.
strategy guide for this game where you pay like $50 for this Prima guide, and you open it up and it's just one page that says you get holy water.
Yeah.
That's the game.
It's like the opposite of Ghosts and Goblins. Don't get the knife. Now this stage right here, this to me, my recording of this stage is like the epitome of rote memorization. Because this stage is like the wall of Castlevania. This is the point where I was stuck just for hours trying to beat this, because I honestly don't know how people did it back in the day before, like, save states and, you know...
They had a lot of time on their hands.
I recently read an article. It was about, like, old adventure games, but it kind of applies here, too. This was back during the era where just do it until you get it right was considered a valid game design mechanic.
This was back in the time where just do it was actually, like, the slogan for video game companies, not just Nike.
Yes.
I was about to say, isn't that Nike's thing?
No, that's Shia
And
LaBeouf's
I don't want to write that off completely, because, like, there are games I think that do that well. Like, for, you know, I talked all about that when we did Sonic 3 and Knuckles, where, you know, that game becomes more fun the more you practice at it. And I like Castlevania, but, like, I think this is a very extreme example of that design philosophy, because here it's like, you basically have to master the game just to be able to progress.
You know what we haven't mentioned that kind of becomes second nature, but always, like, every time I've seen someone play a Castlevania game for the first time, it always trips them up, is the fact that hearts don't restore your HP.
Oh, yeah.
That's That's one of the weirdest design mechanics of all
It's
time.
really weird.
Yeah, the hearts are ammo for your sub-weapon, actually.
Yeah.
You just zoned him out?
Uh-huh.
Oh my god.
Reason number one why this level sucks, the axe armors. Thankfully the holy water makes short work of them, but, like, if you don't have the holy water, they take 9 hits from your fully powered whip to take down.
That's just...
This game seems a lot more liberal with its distribution of hearts than Castlevania 3.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. If you think this game, and I mean, it probably doesn't look hard because I've practiced it a lot and I've, kind of cut past a lot of the BS, but, like... But Castlevania 3, my god. That game was programmed by Dracula himself.
What's the deal with that one?
Everything?
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what the deal is with Castlevania 3, Trey? Stairs.
Yes, there's stairs everywhere.
Oh, does it just make
And for some reason, they thought it would be a good idea, if I recall correctly, to take away your very useful ability to use items while on the stairs.
Only kind of. You can, I think you can throw an axe from the stairs, but
can you just not use certain weapons?
There's something weird about it, because you have to press up plus attack to use your weapon, and that has, like, a weird interaction with the stairs. But I can't remember exactly what it is. But yeah, I always found Castlevania 3 to be slightly easier than this game.
Have you ever beaten it?
No, but I've never beaten this game either.
I always found Castlevania 3 to be slightly easier than the first game for some reason. How far did you get? Oh, like level 2.
Well,
This game is much easier, if only for the fact that it's about half the length of Castlevania 3. By the way, don't whip that candle. That candle has a cross in it, and the cross is like a decent weapon, but you need the holy water for what's coming up, because...
Don't cross that candle.
Yeah. If you don't have the holy water by this point, and in fact the triple shot holy water, just get a game over and go back and get it. Reason number 2 why this level is BS. This hallway. In fact, I called this the wall earlier. Should have called it the hall, because if you don't have the holy water for this part, again, these axe armors take 9 hits to kill. While you're dodging these Medusas that can come from both directions.
Oof.
It could
Reason
be worse.
number 3 why you need the holy water. Death. I'm not going to show it here because I really couldn't be asked to, but Death is one of the most ridiculous bosses I have ever faced.
Nice
Basically, he flies around and randomly spawns scythes that home in on you. This happens in a game where when you jump in the air, you can't control your trajectory after jumping.
This, it could have been worse, though, this hallway, because in later Castlevania and Castlevania-like games, all of those, like, portrait frames in the background would have come alive and flown at you.
Okay, that's true, but those games also have, like, mid-air control.
That's
true. You know?
You said,
Multi-directional whipping.
You said Castlevania-like games, and I heard Castlevania light games. So
Yeah.
I'm thinking there is a light game that uses that gun on the NES.
Castlevania light gun games.
The NES zapper,
Yeah, the zapper.
It's like an 8-bit House of the Dead.
Yeah, it's
Like
just
Super
Castlevania.
Scope
themed.
Castlevania.
Yeah.
You know, some games earn the right to have their level 1 boss be a common enemy by the end of the game. Not this one.
It was a very Mario 2 doorway.
Yeah, I was thinking that when I was playing this. Like, wow.
Oh, not that. Oh, this is. I thought that was a sub weapon. I was like, don't touch it.
no, not
No.
Christianity!
Okay, there's 2 crosses. There's the cross that you throw like a boomerang, and then there's the rosary, which is what that is.
Oh,
That's a
okay.
screen nuke.
Isn't the cross called, like... No, I'm thinking of a different game. I was gonna say, isn't it called, like, a chakram? But no,
I don't
the
think so.
chakram is,
Well, I know in the original US release of this, they localized it as the boomerang because this was before the ESRB, when they weren't allowed to include any religious references in games. Which is a little bit tricky when you're making a game about the Prince of Darkness.
Yeah.
But chakram is a weapon that does the same thing from
Damage boost.
I don't think it's another Castlevania game. It might be a Rogue Legacy.
I'm pretty sure there's a chakram
Actually,
like,
it might be like
item in Symphony of the Night.
Oh,
Yeah.
I do not like this room.
It's
Yeah.
not fun.
At least it'll knock you off the stairs. Okay, never mind.
Oh, stairs plus enemy knockback is my greatest fear.
Yeah. By the way, this is the final stage of the game.
No more holy water.
Yeah.
It harkens me back to the ghost ship from Castlevania 3.
Oh yeah. And that was level 4 of that game, but that game also has like 12 levels.
Wait, what?
Come on.
If you fall down the stairs, you die.
Yep.
Yeah, Contra Syndrome.
Dude.
The bottom of the screen just becomes a pit. And I got a game
Hey.
over on that same part.
Oh my god. That's some bullshit.
Yeah, at this point I was just like, you know what? It's time for some Thrasher music.
Yeah. I'm this pissed.
Yeah.
Seamlessly, like, is now calm again.
Yeah.
That's great.
Mm.
You managed to get your bird cycles just right.
Oh, Bird Cycle. That's a good name for a band.
I have to say, I've been playing the Smash Bros. Remix of this stage theme. Smash Bros. Ultimate did Castlevania solid.
Mm-hmm.
The representation in that game is fantastic.
Dude, my boy Richter
Now,
is
if
up.
only Final Fantasy got more than one song.
I know.
Yeah, see, Square Enix, that's how you do it. Castlevania, like, on its first game being represented in Smash Bros., gets 15 remixes. Okay, 13, I think.
That makes me wonder if, now that Square and Nintendo are pals again, I wonder if it was kind of like a deal, like, alright, you'll get one character if we can sell a bunch of old games on there for real expensive.
Well, I think I think the reason why they forced them to include, like, bad quality music in Smash... Okay. Relatively lesser quality music in Smash Brothers is because they make a lot of money off of, like, orchestra concerts in Japan.
Right. Well,
And
in
so
the US
they don't want
too.
people to have a way to listen to that music out without paying for a concert ticket, which is ridiculous in the age of the internet when you can just
Yeah.
record that stuff.
Also, I'm a big fan of Dracula Stage 1, Gruntilda.
yeah, Yeah, we got Count Orlok here, or Nosferatu as some know him.
Nosferatu?
This there's not really much to say about this phase. It goes on for way too long.
This is like as boring as the Aghanim fight in A Link to the Past.
Yeah, he just shows up. He just teleports around, and shoots fireballs at you. The trick to avoiding them is to stay on the ground until he launches the fireballs, and then whip him. Because if you jump into the air first, he fires them towards where you are. So if you're already in the air, you're basically screwed.
Oh god.
Also, they did a really good job with Christopher B's makeup here for Dracula's second form. But when you take his head off with the final hit, you want to make sure he's like all the way to the left or right of the stage, because as far as I know, it is impossible to get underneath that boss without taking a hit. Yeah, because all he does is jump towards you. By the way, every time you die, you have to refarm 30 hearts so you have enough holy water to take him down.
Jesus.
Oh, hey, it could be worse. You could be grinding your Metroid tanks.
Oh, God.
It's true.
I don't know which is worse.
I must say, though, it was awful nice of Christopher B. to come back from the grave to make a guest appearance at the beginning of this series.
Christopher B.?
I feel so privileged that we were able to listen to him speak.
Yeah, he was very polite.
Although he sounded a little funny, though. Not as awesome as he did in those old Dracula movies, but, what are you gonna do? I suppose that's what the cruel mistress of time does to you.
Yeah. I suppose we did have an in with him, though, after we got the ghosts of both Orson Welles and Vincent Price in for Paper Mario.
Yeah, there's a lot of ghosts in these videos.
Yeah, the whole gang's back together.
Now, see, the strategy that I actually figured out on this run for beating this boss, which I didn't remember from previously, is that the best thing to do here is just to hold up and continue like hitting the attack button, because that way you'll keep whipping him, and then as soon as you can use another holy water, you will. So,
okay.
Yeah, basically because you can't go underneath this boss, you're basically on a timer based on how much health you have.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is stun him with the holy water, and then whip him, because as you can see, he has a ridiculous amount of health.
Yeah, jeez. So then you just gotta get the rotation right again.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine having to do this over and over and over without save states?
Yeah. Well, having to figure this out as a child in the 80s without, like, any outside help.
Yeah.
No wonder most people didn't beat this game until, like, their 20s.
Yeah.
This is when you would talk to your friends on the playground about the impossible final boss. Mm-hmm. And you would, like, all talk about strategies until you figured out how to do it.
You still have to collect the orb. That's great.
Yeah.
Time.
It's tradition at this point. Yeah. I feel like we've been kind of negative about Castlevania. Like, there's not really a whole lot of time to talk about it, just due to, like, the short nature of the game.
Yeah, it's a little bite-sized
But, like, I do
game.
really enjoy this game. Like, it's one of the few NES games, I think, that really has, like, a strong atmosphere. There's that word Nick loves so much. But just the combination of, like, the music and visuals and, like, the tense, kind of slow, strategic gameplay. There he is, Christopher B.
Nice.
It just gives this game a very, like, kind of...
Poor Scarlophus.
Yeah.
Wow, they got Bela Lugosi to voice Death.
Barbershop.
Yeah.
These are great.
Love Cheney Jr. And his father, Love Cheney. Mixed Shreks.
These are great. Green Stranger.
Kefbar. And good old John Candies.
Yeah.
Everyone's favorite horror star.
Simon Belmondo.
Mm-hmm.
He played the greatest role in this story.
Yeah, thank you so much for destroying my castle.
I would like to very quickly go on record and say that that every time someone uses the word atmosphere to describe a game, I lose 5 minutes of life. So,
So talk about your favorite atmosphere in games, and eventually Nick will just become an old man.
I will wither away into nothing.
Like Donovan in Last Crusade.
To not take too much off your life, I wanted to say I really liked the progression of the levels, and whenever you would get to a part where you're like between two parapets, you could see like another part of the castle or like a mountain behind you. I really liked that progression. Like it made you feel like you were going up this like giant spiral staircase.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really added to the atmosphere.
Y'all are really trying to kill me right now, aren't you? But yeah, no, you make a good point, Trey, that like it really gives a sense of like progression and like I guess like dramatic tension to like see where you're going.
Yeah, one thing we didn't really talk about during the playthrough was the developers have gone on record saying that they wanted to make this like a cinematic game, which is crazy to think about, like, you know, during the NES era, but like this game does have kind of like a realness to it just because of like how deadly everything is and how limited your controls and actions are. Like it does really kind of, you know, in a sense feel like you're in this like deadly situation, like facing off against impossible odds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's really the appeal of games like this. Like, you know, they couldn't immerse you with like amazing graphics or like realistic music or dialogue or anything. So they had to figure out other ways to kind of like pull you into the world of the game. And I think Castlevania does that really well with its gameplay.
So for the time that Castlevania came out, those graphics were amazing.
Yeah. Heck, I still think they hold up. I think Simon actually has a really nice walk cycle, and his whipping animation
Belmont
is really
strut.
well done. Yes.
You know what it looks like? The Belmont strut? And this may just be my interpretation. I think it looks like he's been injured. Like his leg, like he's got a bit of a limp.
Yeah. Like he's got a bounce in his gait. Like he's dragging his right leg.
Which honestly, if he's going in to fight Dracula like that and he pulls it off, like what a hoss.
It sort of looks to me like he's walking backwards.
He's walking up to kick Dracula's ass, and this little flea man just runs up and shins him.
Yeah.
He turns around, he's like, what the hell, man?
Well, I'm sure one day we'll return to the Castlevania series. There are many great games that bear the Castlevania name, and I'm looking forward to playing them. But for now, thanks for joining us on this rather short adventure, and happy Halloween.
Yes.
Oh my god.
This would have been a good time to do the Vincent Price laugh, but I already did that in Thousand Year Door. So
you want to take years off my life and do those impressions?
Yeah, I'm just going to awkwardly end it like that. Good night, everybody.
Happy Halloween.